the battle, the back and forth between you and Mike over the years. You know, y'all had y'all battles on the court, and even, you know, after basketball, you know, y'all still have a certain level of differences. Do you feel like that's something that's going to always be there, or do you think that one day that'll be something that works itself out?
That's up to...
December 2025 pulled Isiah Thomas right back into the spotlight, and this time it wasn't a cheap headline. It was on the New Era Detroit podcast, face to face with the history nobody wants to touch. And listen, he didn't dodge. Not one question, not one uncomfortable memory about Michael Jordan. This rivalry? It's not nostalgia. It's still alive, still tense. And according to Isiah, the only person who can actually end it isn't him. Let that sink in. What makes this even crazier is he says he didn't even know there was real hatred until 2020. Think about that. For decades, he believed they were genuinely close. Not NBA brotherhood close. Not PR-friendly smiles. Real life close. Families together. Holidays. Kids running around. Shared dinners. Trust built over years. Isiah even had a Jordan jersey hanging in his son's bedroom. That's not something you do if there's secret resentment brewing. And then 2020 hits. The world shuts down. The Last Dance drops. And Isiah watches Jordan tell millions of people he hated him. No call. No warning. No conversation. Just straight venom on camera. Everything flipped in that moment. So when he was asked if this could ever be repaired, his answer was calm, almost too calm. That's up to him. And here's where it cuts deep. On the court, it was war. Detroit versus Chicago. Survival mode. But off the court, in Isiah's mind, it was love. Brotherhood. Chicago visits. Family vibes. Nothing felt broken. And here's the part that makes you question everything. The face of the bad boy Pistons, the guy tied forever to the Jordan rules, let his son proudly rock a Jordan jersey inside his own home. That doesn't scream hate. That screams respect. Even during a 1992 Dream Team drama, when the world believed Jordan iced him out, Jordan publicly denied it. And Isiah believed him. He chose trust over media noise. That trust lasted nearly 30 years. Until one documentary changed everything.
He and my family, while he was in Chicago, we were extremely nice to him. You know, just as brothers, right? You know, now we competed on the floor, but, you know, outside of the floor, right? His family hung out with my family sometime. You know, we had friends and everything, you know, so I always thought we was cool. And even my son had a Jordan jersey hanging up in his bedroom.
Isiah says he understood how messy narratives get. He's been in this league long enough to know stories get twisted. So when Jordan's production team reached out before The Last Dance telling him, "I can't tell my story without you. You've been influential. You've inspired me," he believed that too. He showed up sharp, sat down, answered honestly, thought everything was solid. Then the documentary aired. The whole country stuck at home watching. And Jordan looks into the camera and says for eternity that he hates Isiah Thomas. No edit to soften it. No follow-up context. Just stamped in history. Isiah didn't hide how that felt. That stuck, he said. He felt played, set up. And from that moment, he drew a line in the sand. If you didn't mean it, say that publicly. Not through back channels. Not through friends of friends. Public words deserve public accountability. But if you meant it, then stand on it. That's the tension. Reports say Jordan has sent private messages claiming he didn't mean it like that. But Isiah isn't accepting whispers to erase a global humiliation. And honestly, can you blame him? This isn't just two legends arguing. This is about respect, legacy, truth. And until something is set on record, this story isn't done. So I'm asking you, is this honesty or is it betrayal? Does silence equal guilt? Or is this just two icons who can't let go of the past? Drop your take below, because this debate isn't cooling off. Not in Detroit, not in Chicago, and definitely not in NBA history.
It's COVID and everybody's sitting at home. And he come out and say, I hate Isiah Thomas. That stuck, man. Right? After, like I say, I put on 3-piece suit, came dressed, and so I feel like he set me up in his video, right? So then afterwards, he had people calling, hey, tell Isiah, I didn't mean it and everything else. And this is what I've said, and I'm going to say it here, and I've always said every time somebody asks me. Hey, if you didn't mean it, and you said it to the world publicly, then apologize publicly.
That's right.
Don't have no private meeting with me.
That's right.
And say, hey, I didn't mean to. But if you meant it, stand on it. But if you didn't mean it, then say it publicly.
Yeah.
He's chosen not to say it publicly. So until he does, this is where
His answer came fast, cold, no hesitation, no softening it for the cameras. And then he dropped the line that basically slammed the door shut forever. You can show me whatever footage you want, you will never convince me he wasn't an enemy. That's not rivalry talk. That's personal history. In that second, Michael Jordan made it clear this was never just X's and O's. This was deeper. And then somehow, in the same breath, he made it even more complicated. He called Magic Johnson the greatest point guard ever, and said Isiah Thomas was right behind him. Think about that. Second greatest ever at your position, and I still hate you. That tells you everything. Respect for the talent. Zero forgiveness for the past. He didn't stop there either. He admitted he hated the entire Pistons roster. Said their style wasn't just physical, it felt personal. They beat the hell out of us. So yeah, admiration and resentment were living in the same sentence. That's how layered this thing is. Then the dream team bombshell blew, it wide open. In The Last Dance, Jordan said he never directly told anyone to keep Isiah off the 1992 Olympic team. That was more of an insinuation. That version lasted, a few weeks? Then it collapsed. Sports Illustrated writer Jack McCallum released raw audio from a 2011 interview on his Dream Team Tapes podcast. Jordan's own voice, clear as day. Rod Thorne called him. And Jordan says, I won't play if Isiah Thomas is on the team. No gray area. No spin. A straight ultimatum. Thorne reassures him Isiah won't be there and even adds that others felt the same way. Years of denial undone in seconds. Isiah called it fraudulent. Said it was lies protected by marketing and myth. And you can feel why. That 1992 roster was loaded. Magic, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton, legends everywhere. History was made. But one name was missing on purpose. That's why this still burns. Stop and really look at that roster. Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Chris Mullin, Scottie Pippen, Clyde Drexler, Jordan, and one college kid, Christian Leitner. Meanwhile, Isiah, two-time champ, finals MVP, 12-time All-Star, is sitting at home, in his prime. And the committee picks a college player over him? You don't think that leaves a scar? Years later, Magic wrote in his 2009 book that Michael didn't want him, Scottie didn't want him, Bird wasn't pushing for him, Malone didn't want him. Nobody was campaigning for Isiah. And Barkley flat out said Jordan denied involvement for years, until the tape surfaced. End of discussion. To really understand the hate, you got to rewind to the late 80s. This wasn't competition. This was war. For straight postseasons from 1988 to 1991, Bulls versus Pistons. Detroit took the first three. During that stretch, the infamous Jordan rules were born after Jordan dropped 59 on them in '88. Coach Chuck Daly designed a system. Force him left, trap him in the paint, hit him every time he drives. Former Piston John Sally simplified it best. It meant F him up. Detroit won in '88, '89, '90. Game 7 of the 1990 East Finals, the migraine game. Pippen barely functional, 1, 4, 10, 2 points. Jordan still drops 31. Pistons advance again. That summer, Jordan transformed his body, embraced the triangle, and in 1991, Chicago swept Detroit. The rules were dead. And that's when the walk-off happened. May 27th, 1991. 7.9 seconds left. Bulls up big. The Pistons stand up and walk off. No handshakes. No acknowledgement. Bill Laimbeer and Isiah leading the exit. Only Joe Dumars and Sally stay to shake hands. Sally later admitted he checked back into the game just so he wouldn't be part of that image. Isiah said Laimbeer made the call. One team, one code. Jordan's rebuttal? When we lost, we shook every hand. Twice. That moment became the lasting picture of the Bad Boys ending. Not toughness, but bitterness. And here's something most fans overlook. Jordan traces the grudge all the way back to the 1985 All-Star Game. Rookie year. 7 points. Shot poorly. He believed Isiah Magic, and George Gervin froze him out. In a 1992 interview, he doubled down and said you could see it on tape. Isiah always denied it, said it was never that serious. But reportedly, Isiah's own nephew lived with Jordan for 5 years when MJ first arrived in Chicago. The Thomas family helped him. That's why The Last Dance hit like betrayal. Isiah thought this was deeper than basketball. Then he watched the world learn Jordan hated him. The NBA world split instantly. Pippen backed Jordan and even called Isiah a snake. Magic's relationship with Isiah stayed complicated, especially after Isiah publicly questioned him following his HIV announcement. Pride stacked on pride. Grudges layered for decades. Some people close to the situation say they just feel sad for Isiah, that he burned too many bridges, and this feud defines it. Magic has publicly said he loves both guys and hopes they move on because they're too old for this. Even Dennis Rodman sided with Isiah on the Dream Team snub, saying he deserved it over an injured bird. What's wild is the silence. 5 years since The Last Dance aired. No clarification. No public apology. Isiah says Jordan's camp has reached out privately saying, "Tell him I didn't mean it." But private apologies don't erase public humiliation. That's Isiah's line, and he's not crossing it. In 2022, both legends were in the same building for the NBA 75 celebration. Same room. Same history. Not a word exchanged. Isiah says he's open to a conversation on his terms. He says he doesn't carry hate. Meanwhile, Jordan's silence is thunderous. Either he meant every word, or apologizing would crack the image built on never showing weakness. Isiah is 63. Jordan is 61. 40 years of tension sparked from one All-Star night and fueled by playoff wars, Olympic snubs, and one documentary. What makes this tragic is Isiah's shock. He thought they were friends. Then 2020 exposed something he never saw coming. "You were standing behind a tree throwing stones," he said. The resolution he wants. A public apology. From a man whose legacy is built on never bending. And until that happens, he says this isn't over. 2 legends. 2 iron wills. 1 feud that refuses to die. So I'll leave it with you. Does silence mean guilt? Or does it mean he still stands on every word?